You know how we do it. Alto, sopranos, and tenors. Let's do this, baby.
Angels we have burned on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strain.
Hello and welcome to Drive-In Double Feature Podcast. I'm Nathan.
I'm Ryan.
And this is the podcast where we talk about 2 movies a week every Tuesday and Thursday. And before we get into today's episode, I want to talk to you about our Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/Drive-In Double Feature Podcast, and you get the Christmas gift of spending $5 a month to support us. And you get stuff from us. You get some special bonus episodes. It's a lot of fun over there. So check that one out. Getting into today's movie, before we even get into it, Ryan, I have something to say to you. Okay. I love podcasting. All right. I love podcasting.
Oh, you like this?
From the microphones to the headphones to me talking to you through this Zoom screen. Podcasts are amazing. But unfortunately, we have 2 groups of people, okay? We have one group of people that say, no, don't take that anywhere outside of Spotify. Keep it there. Do it and be proud. But then we have some, they say keep it on radio. Don't even celebrate anywhere else. Stay true to the roots. But today, I'm going to teach you all a lesson about how podcasting is beautiful and viable today. So Ryan, we are going to talk about
well, if we're going to talk, can we talk in like a car?
Yeah. So drive on over. We're going to talk in a car for about 40 minutes, and I'll refute everything that you say to me, okay?
All right. So we'll start. So I mean, like, wow, I love podcasting, but why does it have to be under this big corporate umbrella? Why can't we just be like talking to ourselves with microphones? And why does that have to go out for everybody to listen to?
Well, see, I'm going to note something really obscure and odd about podcasting history. And because of that little thing in podcasting history means, look at us now. Now we can just record ourselves and talk to the people. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, you see, there's this guy named Adam Carolla, and he had a wonderful idea of a podcast. He was talking to himself, and he thought, why can't I just share it to the world?
It's very beautiful. All right. Well, that was my bit. I was starting it off like that.
Because I liked it. I liked that.
Thank you. Well, today we're talking about Saving Christmas, but it's also known as Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas. Everywhere on Tubi, stuff like that, it says Saving Christmas. But I remember when this played in theaters, it was Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas. And this did have a theatrical run. It's a Christmas movie, but it is a faith-based Christmas movie.
Finally,
we are doing a faith-based movie that isn't Jesus, bro. It's about damn time. But here's the thing. This movie is considered one of the worst of all time. It's always on those lists. And I've always been really interested in seeing why this is considered the worst. Yeah, I don't know. It has this like reputation behind it. I'm sure you've heard about it before.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember when it came out and people were like giving this movie the business, saying how bad it was and everything. But, I disagree. It's not the worst movie ever made.
I can agree with that. It is not the worst movie ever made.
And you know why that is?
Why?
Because it's not a movie. It's not a movie.
I was going to say, it is. I was going to start with that. This doesn't feel like a movie. It just doesn't. It feels like a Christian YouTuber's vlog or something.
I mean, Nathan was doing a bit earlier, but it's literally it's that. Just imagine imagine sitting in a car with somebody and they are just telling you, they're lecturing you about how you're just a cynical jerk and you're just like everything that you tell me, I'm going to just refute with zero evidence backing this up. Just you're gonna have to take my word like 100% for it, and it's gonna convince you.
Yeah, it's just very like it's fighting cynicism with cynicism. It's like, and I mean, I thought this was a war on Christmas movie, right? Because like that's a big debate, big talking point right now for like Christians is, oh, we have to say happy holidays now and stuff like that. But with this one, it's not even a fight against that. It's a fight against ultra religious people that take Christmas too seriously, that don't like the trees, don't like Santa, want it to all be faith-based. So it's Kirk Cameron fighting those people, which, I mean, I don't know how, it just seems kind of niche, like a very niche debate to have.
Well, I mean, I think this movie would be a lot more beloved if it was that, honestly, if it was like talking about like, oh, they're taking Christ out of Christmas or whatever. Yeah. And I think this movie would actually be a lot more popular, but nothing happens in this movie. I mean, it's a movie for, like you said, for ultra religious people to just be okay with the fact that they have Christmas stuff in their house.
Yeah, Kirk Cameron is telling you, hey, it's okay to like Christmas. And yeah, that's how this movie opens. This movie opens with Kirk Cameron. I try my best to have the essence of it, but it's so awkward. It's so paused. He's like, I love hot chocolate. I love Christmas trees. And he does this for the 5-minute intro of the movie.
Yeah. And I mean, one thing I do want to state though, before we get too far into the weeds, is I'm not here to debate or like try to change anyone's opinions or like try to confirm or deny like certain beliefs or anything like that, because that's not what we're here for. I'm just speaking strictly of what's in this movie.
Exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. I'm not trying to refute anything here. I just think it's an odd movie, a pretty bad movie, to be honest. Movie in quotations.
Well, and I mean, that's just what I'm saying. Like, it's supposed to be a movie, and I mean, even on the poster, it's incredibly misleading. It's like got Kirk Cameron like doing like an action movie pose with like candy canes and all this stuff. And maybe if it was like that, I would be a lot more entertained. But it's so cheaply made, and it's just not interesting at all. I mean, it's nothing happens. So I mean, with that in mind of what I just said, let's just say I 100% agreed with everything that was said in this movie. Let's just say like I was totally like, yep, I agree with that. But the same thing is like, it still wouldn't be very entertaining to me if that was the case. And I'm just like, I don't know who this movie is made for or what they're trying to go for. I mean, let's say you agreed with it and you even said, you know what, like that was, I liked what they said in that movie, but can you really honestly imagine yourself watching this movie again? I mean, what?
No, God, no. Like, do you think anybody would have any entertainment value out of this?
I mean, unless you're just like, oh, well, the only way I could see that is if you're just like, oh, you know what? I had no idea about that. Learn something new every day type of thing. And but then again, though, it's like there's no rewatch value to it. It's like, why would you want to watch that again if you've already absorbed the message, you've already got the information? The only way I could see somebody playing this again is if it's like, you gotta watch this movie, and like, or somebody that's like trying to convince somebody else that like it's okay to have a Christmas tree in your house. We're gonna watch this movie. Kirk Cameron's gonna tell you it's okay.
Yeah, trust me. If there's someone who will tell you that it's okay, it's Kirk. But yeah, I mean, this movie opens like that. It's a lot of talking. I think 40 minutes of this movie at least is a debate in a car between an overly religious, maybe not overly religious, somebody who doesn't like Christmas versus Kirk Cameron who loves Christmas.
I mean, they're both religious characters. I
Yes,
mean,
yeah.
and in fact, it's like Kirk Cameron is like the good religious guy, and then this guy, he's religious. He's not a bad guy. It's just he's kind of being a curmudgeon about the whole holiday. It's like, why do we gotta celebrate Christmas? We should be talking about Jesus more, and
Mm-hmm.
and it's like paying him to be like the stick in the mud.
Yeah, and it's the director of the movie, which is kind of funny. And
Right.
I don't know, Kirk Cameron is kind of like he's so positive in this role. It's like kind of because like he's complaining saying we need to talk about Jesus more, and he's like, I'm so happy that my sister married you, so we could sit here and talk about this. It's just kind of off-putting because that's the whole deal. It's Kirk Cameron's sister's husband that is just angry the whole time at this Christmas party they have set up. And it's not DJ from Full House, so it's not his real sister, which is really annoying.
Well, that is his real sister, though.
That in the movie?
Yeah, that's his real sister. Like
That's
he has
another sister?
Yes, yeah, that's Bridget Cameron.
Okay, is she in anything?
Yeah, she's been in some other religious movies, but
Okay, I was gonna say if she isn't in movies, then she isn't real.
no, she's been in other things.
Okay, good. Well, thanks, Bridget Cameron. But that's not her real husband, is it? Is Darren?
No, that is not her real husband.
Okay.
I did look that up.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they just debate in the car, and then like it kind of shows a glimpse because there's like this whole talk about like Santa Claus, right? Like, do you know who the real Santa Claus is? And it cuts to like this fake action movie about Saint Nick who beat the crap out of somebody that was what was he celebrating?
Non-believers.
Traditions. Yeah. And he's like, wouldn't you want this to be your Christmas hero? And after a clip of this Saint Nick guy beating the crap out of a non-believer.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they go through. Well, I mean, setting the stage for the movie, it's this big Christmas party, and all these other NPCs are at this party. Pretty much, it's just like you don't. I mean, there's so many people here they don't even like acknowledge, and there's one guy that's friends with the brother-in-law that they work together, and he's like, oh my gosh, can you believe they're canceling Crazy Shirt Fridays at the office? I can't believe this. And he just goes into this,
and this bit
really
goes on for so long.
unpainfully long, where he's just explaining like, we need a march, we need to make a campaign, we need to go up to corporate, we need to call HR, I get all these people involved because they're canceling Crazy Shirt. I got so many crazy shirts at home, what am I going to do with them all now? and and he's just sitting there just kind of like, ugh, like just staring into the abyss.
Exactly. And that's just really boring. I think that guy has a side scene later with like some conspiracy theorists, and he's like, they're just saying conspiracy theories. It makes no sense with the plot.
Well, because there's 3 segments of this story, and they do that, and then like in between one of the stories they have like a scene where it's like the 2 black guys like are talking to each other, and they do this weird bit where they cover their mouths with mugs, and like when they're talking to each other, so you can't see like their lips move. And I think that's kind of like I almost can imagine like, okay, we're gonna say something funny here, but we don't know what we're gonna say, so cover your mouth with the mug, and then we'll add it in post later.
Oh yeah, probably. That's probably what was up.
That's what I'm thinking of. It's like, oh, can't think on the fly here, so let's wait and do this later.
They didn't hire actors good enough for ad-libbing.
No. And
which we do get to see them ad-lib in the end credits, which is painfully long too.
So that's the other problem with this movie. So the whole main event of this movie is this big lecture. Now, if that was the whole runtime, I mean, I guess, that would be fine. But this movie is just under 80 minutes.
Yeah,
And
it's a super short movie, but it doesn't really feel like it.
but only half of the movie is the lecture. So it's
That's
like
true.
it's like 10 minutes is like first 10 minutes is like the setup. 40 minutes is the lecture. So at this point, we're 50 minutes into this movie. And then now they're kind of like, oh crap, we don't have a feature-length movie at this point. So they do like a big giant dance number that lasts forever.
It's so good. Best part of the movie.
It doesn't end.
Yeah, it's very it's of its time, 2014. I think it's a dubstep version of oh god, what is it? Hark the Herald Angels Sing.
No, it's
Angels We Have Heard on High.
Yeah, Angels Family of Force 5, Angels We Hear on High.
Yeah, and they're all dancing a long dance dubstep number. Kirk Cameron comes in, does the worm.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. It is insane.
But they do that for another 10 minutes. So now we're an hour into the movie, and then the credits and bloopers are 10 minutes long.
How is that possible? There are bloopers that aren't even that funny. There's like literally one where they just like someone messes up a line and they reset, and that was the blooper. It just goes on forever.
Or like the one blooper is the guy talking about Crazy Shirt Friday, and in the context of the movie, the brother-in-law starts zoning out, and you don't hear what the guy's saying. He's just moving his lips. But in the blooper, you actually hear what he's saying, and he goes on. He just starts like riffing and like saying all this other crazy stuff. It's like, I'm just going to keep talking, and you don't know what I'm going to say because I'm talking right now. And
no, yeah, and then there's the rap part where they're beatboxing and the dude raps, but it's like one of the worst raps. He's like, I think at one point he goes, Kirk Cameron, just keeps repeating his name.
Yeah, that's after the credits. That's the post credits.
That's scene. Right. That's the post credits. Isn't that awesome that we get a post credit scene? All the people that left the theater not expecting a post credits for this movie. Disappointed.
But that's even if I was all in on Kirk Cameron, if I like paid money to see this movie, I would be so mad.
I mean, this movie, I looked at the box office. It made 2.8 million on a 500,000 budget. So it made money. People went out and saw it. I mean, I'm sure church groups went out and saw this. I'm sure that was a big part of that.
Oh, I mean, I know. I mean, I know other churches did that. They would go out and they rent out showings of the movie. So they would just rent out the theater, and then we watch it that way. And but it's I don't know. I mean, like I cannot see myself, like I said, even if I was like all in 100%, I was just like sitting down every Christmas to watch this movie.
No, God, no. I really hope, I mean, I can't. Every movie's somebody's favorite movie, but this is as close to I couldn't imagine it being someone's favorite movie, because there just really is no replay value to this. You get lectured, and it's a lot of facts and quotations. I don't know how true any of these stories are, but it's I don't know. There's stuff like, oh, just imagine that the tree is a cross and stuff like that. Close your eyes and imagine. And he just talks about how trees were a pagan idea and all that.
Right. He's like, well, it's like, you've seen trees, right? Well, crosses, they're made from trees, right? Don't you see the connection type of? And I mean, I mean, like I said, if you're gonna make a movie like this, where your whole point is you're lecturing the audience, just go in and full on make it a documentary. Go in, you could go in, get Christian scholars to come in and explain why this is all the case.
And I think people would actually like that too. I like a movie, because people watch movies like that all the time, where it's like, here's the religious facts and here's how it's based in history. But instead, this goes for a comedy movie angle, And I think that's why in the middle of this comedy movie, you getting lectured just ends up feeling, it just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel fun. It doesn't feel entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't, it's not a good time. I mean, the three things he talks about is the three segments. Like you said, one is about the nativity and like why that's so important. And I mean,
Yeah.
I can't even.
The nativity, as he kept saying it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and talking about how important the swaddle was, and
Imagine nobody else there. What's left? The swaddle.
yeah, take baby Jesus out. Sure, he's the star, but
But come to find out, the swaddle is the star.
yeah. Then he talks about the Christmas tree, and then he talks about Saint Nick, and each one of those segments is between 10 to 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's just him talking the whole time. I mean, at least the Saint Nick one, they have like an actor playing Saint
Yeah,
Nicholas, but
that's like another movie that I would rather watch.
right.
That's what's going on there.
Yeah, I would much rather watch a movie called Saint Nicholas where it's just this guy beating up non-believers. That would be a lot. That'd be more entertaining than this. But just the other two are, I mean, just it's the same as listening to like a book on CD. There's nothing interesting on the screen to entertain us. It's all these real stock images. There's nobody acting or anything.
Yeah, like he even tells you to close your eyes and imagine. And like, what movie is like, oh yeah, can you not look at the visuals really quickly and like imagine something? That's not good filmmaking.
Well, he told me to close my eyes, but he never told me to open my eyes. So I had to close my eyes throughout the rest of the movie. Well, I mean, he didn't say open them, so I was waiting for him to say open your eyes.
There's the film flaw right there. Maybe more people would like it because
Yeah.
they kept their eyes closed.
I think the biggest crux, though, is just, this movie is very obviously a vanity project. I mean,
exactly. It's Kirk Cameron's movie. It's his chance to like speak on stuff like this. And I mean, I was trying to read reviews and stuff, and even places like the Christian Post and like other Christian like newspapers, magazines that review movies, they weren't for it. And I think they saw right through what it was. And I don't know. It's definitely just like you said, a vanity project. And I think that's going to be this week in a nutshell.
well, so then the other issue was, so when the movie did come out, it did, like you would expect, it got hit with a lot of negative reviews and everything. And Kirk Cameron was not happy about that. Like, it's specifically the Rotten Tomato website. And
I have the quote here. If you want me to read it.
Yeah, yes, please.
Yeah. Help me storm the gates of Rotten Tomatoes. All of you who love Saving Christmas, go rate it at Rotten Tomatoes right now and send the message to all of the critics that we decide what movies we want our families to see. Storm the gates of Rotten Tomatoes.
I do that every time they have a movie I don't like. I storm the gates.
Yes, yeah. But he also blamed it on, he said the low IMDb score was based off of atheists and pagans. So
all those pagan reviewers coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, making an IMDb account. So yeah, he definitely didn't take it well.
But I was interested. I thought about that. I didn't look, but I was thinking that. I was like, well, what did actual Christian movie reviewers think of this? Because
yeah,
I mean, to me, like other religious movies that have come out, like it's just, it's like a whole other genre. It's like, to me, it's on par with the Hallmark movies.
Pretty much, yeah. They're made for a very specific person, and whoever watches these constantly, it's made for them, right?
Right. Like, I saw the movie Facing the Giants, and that movie's about a football team that overcome the odds with the power of Christ behind them. And I mean, is it a good movie? No. I mean, it's pretty cheesy, but it's, I can at least understand why somebody would like that movie.
Yes, yeah. It's an I'm sure it's entertaining for people. You're not being lectured. It's like, oh, it's a good faith-based movie. That's just one of those things. Yeah, when you say it like that, because you have other ones, like you got like that one, and we talked about this right before, another Kirk Cameron, Fireproof. They're made for a certain type of people, and those actually have plots, stories. They take you somewhere.
Right. I mean, those, I get it. I get why somebody would want to watch that movie more than once. But what, I interrupted you though. What did you say? Were you going to say what the Christian movie reviewers thought of it?
Yeah, it's not too interesting. It's more like, this is from the Christian Post. They just said that even after this movie, many Christians remain divided over what the Bible says about the celebrating Christ's birth on Christmas, and that they were not convinced otherwise because of the movie. So just like the movie didn't help any, like this actual divide was not solved in any way by this movie.
So even among Christians, this movie is controversial.
Yeah. I mean, and that isn't that a sign? That's a pretty bad sign. And it's a golden raspberry winner. So
Hey, what's the old moniker filmmakers make? It's like, if everyone made a beloved movie, they did something wrong. So
yes, there we go. Yeah. I do have to say, the golden raspberries, you know how they do like special awards every so often. This one was for worst screen combo, and it won. Kirk Cameron and his ego won that year. So
yeah, he won worst actor as well. I saw.
And his sister was nominated, did not win. So
maybe next time she'll get it.
Yeah, that's something we can all hope for. But I mean, there's really not a lot to talk about with this movie. Just kind of not even really a movie. Don't know what its purpose really is, other than just to have Kirk Cameron tell you that Christmas is good, and honestly quite boring.
Yeah, I mean, kind of what I said at the very beginning. The definition of a movie is stretching it here big time. It just, because like I said, once they get to the 40-minute, 50-minute mark, the rest of the movie is just padding, and it's just these, like, the whole plot of the movie has been resolved. Because he goes back in and he apologizes to his wife for being a stick in the mud, and then she's like, oh, it's fine, whatever. And then they do their big dance number and everything, and they come and they sit down and have dinner together, and then that's it. It's just like, it just feels so lazy. I mean, it's just like, we obviously we didn't have anything to work with here, so we just I don't know. I didn't know what they were trying to do, and for me, that's like one of the worst things you could do for a movie. It's just like waste people's time.
That's true. Yeah. When you feel like you left a movie and you're like, man, that was a waste. That's very, very poorly done. I mean, that's what padding is. And this movie feels like complete padding, cheap padding.
I mean, like for the worst thing, even for some of the worst movies that we've talked about here, I mean, at least they felt like movies, some of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
yeah. How many times, like, I feel like most movies we've watched here, 99% of them have felt like movies. I can't think of any that were like, this didn't feel like a movie.
Yeah,
this is the first.
Maybe Oh Heavenly Dog, but
oh no, that was a movie. It was just really awful.
Yeah, but I can never see myself watching this again. I don't think there's absolutely nobody in mind I would recommend this to. So this is a very easy not recommend for me.
Oh yeah, no, do not watch this movie. Even if it sounds funny, don't be like me. Don't pick it for your podcast. It's not good.
Well, before we end on that, because you picked this one because we had another one in mind, but we weren't able to watch it. Now, when you watched this one, did you know? Because I knew when you picked it, I knew what this movie was like, but it was going to be like a big lecture. Did you know that's what it was before you picked it?
No, I actually didn't. Yeah, I thought I saw the poster. I do this all the time. I mean, I know it by its reputation. I've seen the poster, and I was like, oh, this is like some kind of like Kirk Cameron action Christmas movie that's bad or something. No, it was just like a lecture. Like, sorry, I sent you to like a sermon, Ryan.
Well, I mean, when you picked it, I'm just like, I was like, oh man, like I already knew. I was like,
Forcing you to watch like the bottom of the barrel.
well, I mean, luckily, we always come through in the end,
Yeah.
but again, in the back of my mind, I'm just like, oh my god, like what is there to talk about?
Yeah, no, that's definitely, I had the same feeling. But look at us, we did it.
We did it. We always come through. Why do I worry so much?
Exactly. But Ryan, let's wrap it up here. And what are we going to be continuing this double feature with on Thursday?
Well, Nathan, let's just keep that wholesome train going. There's not if there's anything that goes hand in hand with Christian family values, it's racial sensitivity.
Mm,
So,
yes.
so I think we should talk about this movie called Loquisha, which is for free on Tubi right now. You can go watch it. And I'm not really going to give you any details. Just go watch Loquisha.
You're telling them to watch Loquisha.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen?
Yes, I think you're right there. But if you want to send us any emails after you've seen Loquisha, send us that email at drivein-double-feature-podcast@gmail.com. You can also X at us at DIDF pod. But until next time.
Until next time.